Finding Joan, Joan, finding Sister Joan, Sister Joan, Sister Joan, watch out now. Should I go get the other sister?
I think a new year requires a new development on the utter nonsense front, yes. Sister Joan is happy to finally see her sister.
Sister Iva Story has brought the whole library with her. She knows all of Joan's secrets.
Well, you better fucking behave yourself now, eh, Joan? No more parties at number 10. We ready for an intro?
Yeah.
Hello! I'm Sister Babeushka.
Hello, and I'm Sister Alaska Lots.
And this is Utter Nunsense.
This is the show where we pour a piping hot cup of tea.
Oh, yeah. And we utter what nonsense pops into our heads.
This is basically a laid-back chat between friends.
With a new episode uploaded once a month at the start of the month, every month.
So make sure you like and subscribe and hit the bell notification so you get notified of new episodes when they come out.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling. And it's a podcast available from all good streaming sites.
Yay! Oh, we're such pros. It's the new year, bitches. And that means it is often a time of reflection for people. And so we are going to do some reflection of our own by looking back at some of our past faces and judging them.
And we're very cleverly going to call this Yass or Pass.
And you may judge our faces with us and tell us in the comments which ones you Yass and which ones are a pass.
Whatever you pick, there's no right or wrong answer.
In order to set out some criteria, for me, when I'm looking at pictures, I'm probably going to give a yes or pass based on, would I do it again? Was there something of value to the face that I like that I would maybe repeat? Or was it a big,
I think I've got similar criteria that I'm going through as well for yassing or passing. If I'm passing, it's probably because, one, I don't want to do that again for whatever reason. Or two, it was just bad.
I think that it's worth saying, at least for me, there's value in every face. Like I've learned something, even if it's what not to do.
Well, I think those are sometimes the most beneficial faces to have.
We have come a very long way from our very first faces, that's for sure.
Joan hasn't. Same old face every other day.
So without further ado, shall we bring on the faces?
The faces! I don't know what this hand motion is, but it's a one for faces.
The sister version of Vogue is face, space, space, face, face, face.
Our first manifest.
We were such cute little baby nuns. It's important to note there had been no prior instruction or talk through about how the makeup works. Bear that in mind. Do we want to talk about your face or my face first?
I'm happy to start putting the boot into myself. That is a look I have never repeated since doing it. Don't know what was happening there. Yeah, I went ahead. I thought, let's do some geometric shapes and focus on the eyes.
I think there were things you got right that I maybe didn't. You went for something that was more big and bold and more visible, and I wish that I had done that. The instruction we were given was basically just think of what you do for your normal makeup and then make it bigger. And I was sitting there going, I don't really do makeup. So I really admired that you did something that was bigger and more colorful and visible.
I'm glad there was something to be learned from that face. Yeah, it just felt like I'm just putting stuff on and this is a nice color. And after you've done the big around the eyes, the bottom of your face feels a little bit empty. And so I appreciate what you had done, which was the contouring. Whereas I just went, I don't know how to contour. Not going to try it now either because I'm not brave enough. So I'm just going to stick shapes and lines on there.
Is it a yes or is it a pass?
It's a hard pass. If I saw the face on the street, I would probably go to the other side of the street and slyly hide my head down as I continue on.
I'm going to be honest, like, would I do it now? Probably not. For a baby nun, I would have said a yes.
A lot of lessons learned from that, but a hard pass to ever doing it again.
In which case, that brings us on to the travesty that is my face. For the eagle-eyed amongst you, you might notice that Babeushka and I were slightly different colours in this picture. Babeushka has a lovely white base. I, on the other hand, was not aware that I shouldn't have any foundation on before I started. What you see is a beautiful mix of my normal foundation colour and white, which just leads to ick.
It definitely helps you stand out in the photo.
So there were other things that I did wrong, in my opinion. I didn't colour my brows at all. I learned from this that I look very weird without eyebrows. I also had no eyeliner. So my eyes just look, they just disappear, and I regret the entire thing. This is definitely a pass. This is probably the hardest pass out of every face I've ever done. I would not do this face again.
It's almost like we've mirrored each other's answers, because I would probably give this a yes. For starting out, I think the controlled use of shapes above your brows compared to what other nuns maybe did that day, but also you gave contouring a go, and the main features are there. I think it's a decent first attempt, and yeah, I would yes that for any starter nun.
I have no idea what those shapes were above my eyebrows.
We both had a moment of panic of, let's put some shapes on somewhere.
Now that we've discovered our very first faces for a bit of a pass, let's see if we improved any in the second manifestation.
Da, 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 da.
Second manifestation, still very baby nuns.
I mean, there wasn't much time between one and the other, was there?
6 months.
Was it 6 months, really?
Yeah.
What did we do between those 6 months?
6 months with no practice in between.
To me, it only felt like there was maybe a month or two between those.
So, did we improve? Babeushka, how do you feel you did?
There's definitely an improvement. There's still the big eyes happening with Babeushka, but as you can slyly see there is a little bit of contouring going on. There's no random geometric shapes shoved onto my face anywhere, so that's a win.
Would you yes or would you pass?
Again, I'm going to pass. It's not as brutal a pass as I gave my first face. I think it's still playing about with trying to find out what does a Babeushka face need to be.
I feel like I can see the beginning elements of what we would normally think of as a Babeushka face.
It's decent. It's a good next step in my evolution, but yeah, I would still pass it, but not as harshly. How about yourself, Alaska? How do you think you've done?
I think that there has definitely been progress. I had learned from the first manifestation that I did not like using powders for makeup. So in this one, I tried a different approach. You know how you get those things for Pride that have all the colours? And it's like a song that you draw on your face. That's what I used. And I didn't know what to do with it. So I'd like flicks out from my eye and then attempted a bit of contour, actually put on some eyeliner, and it was better. It's definitely not what I would do now. However, I liked it enough that I did it again.
And I could see that the other thing that you've also done compared to last time is that gems stuck to your face as well.
Oh, glitter!
Ah, that was it.
This is the glitter that I did not get in trouble for. In this manifestation, the person said how beautiful it was, and in the next one, they decided it was against the rules. It's the same person.
Consistency.
We're going to talk about the glitter gems when we come to that manifest. Shall we troll on to our next phase?
Troll forward, team!
Now this one, you may notice, is missing a Babeushka. Babeushka was not at this manifestation, which means that we just get to critique me. I was still very new, and I had to get ready alone. So I didn't have anyone to supervise or tell me what I can and can't do. And I didn't have a lot of time, so I just did something that I thought would be quick and okay. You'll notice that I coloured my brows and I gave myself some eyeliner. This is looking much better now. And I stuck on some gems that matched the colour of some of the other props I was going to have that day. I got told off for those gems. Apparently, they were against the rules for little postulants like me. Nobody had told me this. I have never put gems on my face again to this day.
Really?
Because I've been too scared to ever since. And that's ridiculous because I'd be perfectly allowed to now.
Well, it's really funny because I'm sure this face, like after I'd seen it and everything, like I'd been like, oh, gems, that's an idea. And actually had specifically went out to buy those, you know, packets of little gems you can stick to your face. So actually, this one was an inspiration to then get other people thinking, oh, we could do this, so let's try this.
This was traumatic for me and inspiring for you. How interesting. So I think on that note, that explains why this one is a pass for me. I would not do it again because I have never done that again.
That's such a shame because I would give that a Yass. I would probably give it a stronger Yass if it was bolder in its colour scheme, because I know where you then go as a nun with your makeup. But no, for the use of the gems, it's quite cute, and the contouring. So I think that was lovely. So no, hard Yass for me.
Anyone who doesn't know, the lips don't have any colour on them because that's normal for postulants across many different houses. Just in case you're wondering why we're going, oh, that's a good look, and you're going, there's no lipstick though. What's going on there?
Totally forgot to mention.
we do not judge the lips.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet. Moving on from my past traumas. First Pride.
What a lovely Pride that was as well.
Still my favourite Pride to this day.
All of us getting ready together and having a laugh, and one of us maybe spilling a whole bunch of glitter on the floor and the table. Can't imagine who you're looking at who's got glitter on their eyebrows there. First time putting glitter on the face, so it was an experiment. It was quite good. It looked good. Big on the eyes. Very big on the eyes this time, going right to my forehead. For some reason, the weird lines have come back as well. Just colourful lines everywhere.
I'm not going to lie, to me, they look a little bit like whiskers. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but that's just what it reminds me of.
Interesting times, that face.
I appreciate the boldness of the design, and it's something that I would often aspire to. Is like, I need to be bigger. Babeushka makes it work. I have to say, I have never attempted the whisker lines.
But I mean, as you know, those whiskers will evolve into something much better. Clearly, I wanted lines, I just didn't know how to incorporate them. So I think a soft pass for me. It's not a terrible look. Could be better if I redid it.
Have you ever been curious to try it?
Yeah, there could be a chance I go back to one or two and redeem myself. And how about your face in this, Alaska? I think it's a very different face from the other ones that we've seen on you so far in this episode.
I love this face. This face was actually inspired by the second face that I did. So if you think about the lines that I did with the little chalk thing coming out of my face, that's how this came about. But this time I tried yet another new medium. This is the first time we see Sister Alaska with the face paint, which has since become my favorite medium to work with. And I built on that idea of just having color radiating from my eyes. And then I just drew swirls and petals.
I think this is the first picture, looking through these sequentially, you can start to see the Alaska that we come to know now. It's like the big, the bold, the colourful, the swirls, the centre head part.
Got my heart on in this one. I would definitely give this one a very enthusiastic yes. I really loved it at the time, and I enjoyed it enough that I have recreated this face.
It's just leaps and bounds from like even just the previous photo we've seen. So yes, hard yes.
To the next manifestation. We're at another Pride.
But not just a Pride, also our elevation.
There's colour on the lips. We have head boobs. Very exciting.
Looking at this photo, I definitely feel there's a story of two different like levels of makeup here.
I think it's safe to say that I found my medium and I was very excited about that.
Considering it's an elevation and pride, explosion of colour is what we want.
You also went for lots of colour, though, big and bold and visible, and you've incorporated more than one flag, which is impressive.
I think seeing that other people had been playing about with putting hearts on or putting flags on their faces at other prides, pick up ideas and things that you're like, oh, I want to try that. I want to try this.
And I think I spot the very first Babeushka tentacles. Very exciting moment. For anyone who's not seen much of Babeushka's face before, Babeushka does quite a lot of fantastic kind of tentacle work on their face. And we even have a video on this channel with a tutorial if you want to see how it's done.
Again, I think it was still that trying to find a balance to one's face if you're not being symmetrical. My asymmetry is a little bit of a burden sometimes where it's like, how do I make it stand out if I've got a heart on one side of the face? Let's put a tentacle slowly creeping about.
How would you rate this then?
I'm going to give it a very gentle pass, only because I know I could do it better now. So it's one that I would probably look to redo. I don't know, the white face looks a little bit streaky. The eyes could have been done better. The heart looks a little bit, rough and tumble. The lipstick, definitely not applied correctly. I can see a little gap there.
I think you're being quite harsh on yourself here.
I'm very critical, so I would say a soft pass, but it is one that I'd probably look at, could I do it better in future?
So you did a great job.
I feel your one is the strongest here, just because of how bold it is and how finessed it looks. There are the black lines, it just makes it look so professional.
If you remember the very first photo where my face was not the right colour, and this is where I start to feel like I'm actually doing the base properly. You think that would be like the most basic thing, right? It's also the first time that we see the black line work that I now do with every face that I do. This felt like a very difficult face to pull off. This is where I feel like I really started finding what my face was going to be like. And I was very proud of what I managed to do. I would Yass it, but I'm not planning to do it again. I was warned that I should not overshadow the people that are elevating me. So I might have gone a bit overboard.
Or did they just need to step their makeup game up?
We shall let the audience judge.
It was big, it was bold, it was beautiful. So even if it never happens again, it was good to have it happen, especially for an elevation, which is a big thing.
Side note, I hate this lipstick. I'm not a bright pink person.
I don't think I've ever really used it since.
Face.
So, Mardi Gras, 2019.
Yet another pride.
And it's our first foray out as novices, being proud to show off our newly acquired boobs and veil and painted lips.
This was very exciting. It was basically a day trip to visit the mission over in Glasgow. We had a fantastic time. It kind of felt like we'd been let loose.
I think we had very much been let loose because it was just us two that had went through, wasn't it? There's an interesting look going on, at least for myself. A nice explosion of colour around the eyes, but I think I'm still not there yet in how I want to present that. And even though I'm now allowed to paint my lips, I'm also doing like blood or purple dripping out of my mouth at the side, and I'm like, what is the theme here? Get it together, girl. Snap out of it.
Blood running from the mouth just screams pride.
Clearly, I have feasted upon the homophobic. What is there to say about my face? I mean, it's a pass for me in this one. I've just got no clue what's going on.
I'm still cool with like the big colour around the eyes. Because clearly at this point, I'm like, let's have lots of colour. I don't understand the drool, I'm not gonna lie. It's not a look I've ever considered doing. I would probably like pass on the lower half, yes, the upper half.
Somebody had clearly hit me in the face with a shovel just before we went out, and that was the look I was going for.
We've all had our moments.
How do you feel about your face?
clearly I decided I'd overdone it, so I was trying to tone it down a bit. The coverage of the color is the same, but instead of really bright rainbow colors, I had chosen more muted rainbow colors. I don't think it has as much impact, so I'm sad. I wish I'd gone for the brighter colors. And instead of black details, I went with white details because I thought that might be less like in your face. And I scared myself with the big over the top one. And I shouldn't have been scared off so easy. I mean, overall, I like it. It was nice. I would consider trying it again and maybe changing it up a bit. So I'm gonna like give a gentle yes. It was all right.
Yeah, I liked it. I think it definitely does feel a little bit muted in terms of bold colours, but overall, again, it's still that Alaska vibe that you get. And so, yeah, I would also agree with a nice soft yes.
For some reason, I went pink lips again, despite the fact I hated pink lips last time. At this point, it hadn't occurred to me that lips could be a colour that wasn't like normal lipstick colour. I was yet to discover that.
Oh, fuck's sake, Joan, get up.
Get on up. Get on up.
What a drunk.
What do we have next? Oh, surprise, surprise. It's another pride.
This one, though, was a very wet pride. I think there's a significant, step up in the makeup game on this one.
We're seeing elements of Babeushka here that I would recognise as Babeushka face.
Big eyes. This time not straightly going up to the forehead. There's definitely some tentacles poking out there. The dress that I'm wearing actually does have sort of an aquatic theme and tentacles at the bottom of it. And so it was to match with the dress.
I feel like there was an aquatic theme overall for the day. We were practically swam through that pride. Surprisingly on point. Some contouring.
Yeah, contouring, making sure my lips weren't pink for a change, and there was no blood or drool or whatever you thought was going on in the last one coming out. So actually, quite a cohesive look for Babeushka for the first time in her bloody life.
That a yes?
Enough to give it a good yes. Yes, I would yes this. I think it's the first really strong Babeushka is coming look.
I'm going to say pass, but that's because of my trauma to do with face gems. Yeah, the gems just scare me. I'm a wee fierty. So clearly my face did not incorporate any gems or glitter or anything like that. We are back to the black line work. So clearly I've decided that this is a thing that I like. I wanted to do something that was not quite as big, and the inspiration that I drew from was a combination of drag and like Venetian masks. This is the first time that we see the swirls on the eyes like that, which is now a very common motif for me. It's not disastrous, but I didn't super love it. And I'm still doing pink lipstick. I hate pink lipstick.
Oh, Alaska, Alaska.
I think I'm passing this one, but not a hard pass. It's like it's almost middle of the road. If there was a third option, it would be that.
The ya pass. I would say it's a nice yes. The lovely sort of swells. Yeah, it's one that maybe I'll steal for future looks. I'd probably pass on the lipstick part. But
Yes.
it feels like you do that because it's pink.
Like at this point, you've already learned that lips can be a colour other than pink, and clearly I haven't. Let us vada at the next picture.
Well, look at that. It's us two again.
It's almost like we go everywhere together. And what a surprise, we're on our way to yet another pride. We're clearly having a whale of a time.
For my look, well, in fact, I'm quite fond of both looks. Again, maybe other than the lipstick on yours. It just doesn't feel like it gels with the rest of it. But no, overall, I think both looks here are very nice. You can definitely see our sister personas coming through much stronger now.
This was during my rainbow phase where every single makeup look had to be rainbow. I just became obsessed.
I think colour explosions for both of us there. The bigger the face, the more attention it gets, the more likely you are to interact with people, and they'll come up and be like, oh, what's going on?
I'm going to be honest that for my face, I'm really disappointed in this. This one,
Really?
I hate looking at this one. The pictures upset me so much. I'd found a picture on Pinterest that had something similar that inspired this look. And it looks really cute there. So the concept, I think, is fine. The execution of it was not what I'd hoped. It's like the weird whiskers, but on my eyes. Then I've got the heart. The heart is fine, but then for some reason I decided to add more whiskers coming out the heart.
It's not whiskers. The heart is radiating love to the community.
Then I still go for pink lips. And the thing that upsets me the most about this is that this is the face I had on when meeting Ian McKellen. This is like one of the hardest passes out of all the faces I've ever done. I will admit, I did once try to redo it, but better, because it bothered me so much. So I did do a second attempt. I still didn't love it. It was better than this, though.
That's a shame. I think it's another one that I would actually give you a pass for because I really like the little white lines, the little flowers and the dots and the weird eye whiskers. They're definitely better than whatever eye whiskers I started out trying to do. So no, I think from like here up, it's a yes.
Shall we see if it gets any better?
This is our last one from year one.
Again, we're missing a Babeushka. It's not the same, you know. Dynamic duo without the second person is just sad.
I was clearly off getting us the next crate of vodka.
But this one is yet another pride. We can see I'm definitely in my rainbow phase. Like every face now is rainbow. This one is a recreation of an earlier face. Think back to the second picture with the crayon drawing out round the eyes. It eventually evolved into this. And the idea was, can I take that concept and make it better? This time we're using actual face paint, but a lot of the elements are the same. The kind of color coming out from the eyes, glitter is actually face paint. So I've painted glitter on my face because I'm too scared to use real glitter.
I'm still having to look at it like, oh my god, it is face paint instead of glitter. You just wouldn't know just looking at it. It's well done.
Overall, I really like this. Just seeing the difference from one of those very earliest faces to this last one in my first year, to me, showed me what a big journey that had been. So this face made me really happy, despite the fact I still have pink lips.
Now, looking at it compared to the other two, it does seem like it's either a different shade of pink or there's something about it that looks better than the other two at least.
These lips are painted with face paint. And it's the same face paint I've used on the rest of my face, so it matches.
So is this a yes for this face?
This is a yes. Yes, I love this face. This photo makes me happy.
Yeah, I think if anything, that is definitely the showing of this episode of the whole progression of faces, considering that we finish on a look that you've actually recreated from a previous look that we've seen. So amazing. Howard, yes.
Yay. I thought it was really fun, actually. I've not looked at some of those photos for a long time now.
It's been so interesting, even just because obviously, as you say, we don't actually go back and necessarily look at photos all the time.
And it's amazing when you think about where we started and then the amount of progress that we made in that first year.
I would say we've both come on leaps and bounds. If we looked at what we are looking like today compared to what we started with.
Out of all of those pictures, which of your faces would you say is your favourite? If you had to pick one.
I mean, it'd have to be one that I said yes to start with, so that limits it. It's a bit of a toss-up. I've got two. I can't pick between the two. So it's either my face from the seventh photo we looked at, the one where you see the tentacles properly appearing, face gems, contour, lips, big eyes, or I actually really liked the one after that as well, with the sort of colour just streaming down. There's a clear intent for what that face was going to be, and I stuck to it. How about yourself?
I think for me, it has to be the last one. That last one is the one that I think made me feel happiest. And I felt like I was getting the right balance of big and bold, but without being too much. I loved it. That would be my favourite. Do our viewers agree? Let us know in the comments. What's your favorite face? Which ones would you Yass or pass?
Well, Alaska, this has been a lovely chance to walk down memory lane.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this, and I would really love to come back and do this again. Maybe next year we do another like review of a year of faces.
Next time on Art of Nunsense, because it's going to be February, it's going to be Queer History Month again in the UK, and so we are actually going to give you some more queer history stories.
Yay! We love queer history. We're going to share with you a few more of the weird and wonderful and fantastical stories of queer people from days of old.
Until then, you'll just have to suffice with watching previous episodes and listening to previous podcasts.
If you've enjoyed watching today's episode, please make sure you like and subscribe and hit the bell notification and do all the things.
And with all that said,
we did the thing!
We have done the thing!
We did 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 the thing! We did the thing!